Perfect. All right. I will call this meeting of the Antelope Valley Community College District Board of Trustees to order at 6:36. So let's begin. We are reconvening to public session. So can we have a roll call, please?
Lou Stoltz, member.
What do we do?
Roll call.
Roll call.
So you're present.
Yes.
Well done.
Barbara Gaines.
Present.
Michael Adams.
Here.
Steve Buffalo.
Here.
Dr. Laura Herman.
Here. And our student trustee.
And Juliet Chico. My apologies.
Here.
All right, perfect. Thank you. And public comment, agenda and non-agenda items, I'll simply summarize that with Governor Newsom's executive order on March 12th, relaxed parts of the Brown Act, which enabled us to conduct meetings in this format. Anyone wishing to view the meeting may do so via our YouTube channel listed on the agenda. The meeting is recorded and available as a public record upon request. And anyone wishing to participate in public comments should submit their comments electronically via email no later than 30 minutes prior to the start time of the closed session of the meeting. And those will be read, non-agenda items will be read shortly, and any agenda items will be read at the time that agenda item is addressed. So let's do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Everybody would face the flag, place your hand over your heart, and repeat after me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May I have a motion to approve the meeting agenda?
I'll move that. Second.
Any discussion? Advice? I think she's muted.
Sorry, yeah, I was muted. Approved.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The agenda is approved. And now we have our public comments on non-agenda items. And this time I'm going to hand it over for those to be read aloud so that we can all listen as those are read.
So, Madam President, we do have one comment that was inadvertently left out from last month. This came in from Taylor Ford. She wrote, "The purpose of a school is to provide a safe environment for learning. The college university is supposed to fulfill that same purpose when offering a higher education. Since graduating, I have watched and read as the president and his administration disrespect the systems and protocols in place that protect the rights and equity of college employees. I've had the unpleasant experience of hearing about the president verbally abusing and belittling an Antelope Valley College student, a student he is supposed to be in service to. I've signed and shared petitions regarding the president's blatant disregard for equitable hiring processes that have consequently barred employees of color from fairly applying for campus positions. And most recently, I have had the displeasure of reading through countless social media posts and screenshots of a particular Antelope Valley College professor. I've also learned that the college has done less than nothing about these instances of violent hate speech. To reiterate, the base purpose of a school is to provide a safe learning environment. Antelope Valley College is failing to meet even the basic standards that would fulfill that purpose. Thanks to this current administration, Antelope Valley College is becoming more and more of a joke with each passing day that is spent neglecting and, dare I say, suppressing the needs of the student body and abusing the processes set forth to preserve the rights of college employees. As an alumnus, I feel embarrassed to be associated with what Antelope Valley College has become. I hold President Knudsen and the Antelope Valley College Board directly responsible for soiling the college's character." Cindy Hendricks writes, "To President Knudsen and members of the Board of Trustees, I would like an update regarding the public dressing down of the student Omar, which occurred in June. Has there been any discussion or consequences of the president's actions? Do we have any guarantee that this won't happen again? And most importantly, has anyone checked on the student to find out if he is safe? While the original actions of President Knudsen reflected poorly on the college, The fact that the matter has not been addressed reflects just as poorly on the board. I assume by now that the board is aware that enrollment for fall 2020 is down. I can only wonder how much of a role the president's actions have played in our declining enrollment. Please let faculty and students know what you are doing to create a safe online environment for students and faculty. Stacey Adams. Last month, I shared my concern about President Knutson's email response to student Omar Ulad on July 2nd, 2020. Omar is not alone in feeling that Mr. Knutson's weekend thoughts emails are a misuse of school email. When the president sends an email to all, it is presumed to contain important information and should be read right away. If emails are habitually sent that contain unimportant information, then in the future recipients will not pay attention to emails from the president, and it detracts from the importance of future communications. Furthermore, what is most disturbing is that Omar emailed President Mr. Knutson directly, not all, and expressed his feelings, and then Mr. Knutson replied back to all, meaning the entire campus community, all faculty, all employees, all administrators, and all students. While Omar's communication manner may have been overly casual, lacking formality and respect, his message and his opinion should not be lost, and he certainly doesn't deserve public shaming for having the courage to share his opinion. Omar doesn't have to be a veteran to have an opinion on this. Many people, including myself, had grown weary of the misuses of email by the president. I cannot even imagine the response of administration had an instructor received an email from a student and then chose to reply to all, meaning the entire campus community. It seems unfathomable and would be considered an enormous lapse in judgment. I am sure the word unprofessional would be used. Should not the same standard be applied to the college president? This seems to be a serious lapse in judgment to try to publicly humiliate the student. I think the AVC community deserves a response from the board on this issue. It should not just be swept under the rug. We need to have confidence that our administrators and our board of trustees uphold high ethical standards and expect such from one another. Silence is not acceptable. Please update our campus community on this matter and what is being done about it. She's referring to AP 3050, Institutional Code of Ethics, and AP 3720, Computer Network and Telecommunications Use. Aurora Bird. I continue to be concerned about President Knutson's public response to a private email. His response has led to multiple death threats to the student and his family. To date, President Knutson has yet to apologize, and the board has failed to take any action at ensuring the safety of said student. Failure to respond has left a chilling effect on the campus as a whole, as the lack of response suggests that public disagreement and even public discourse are not welcome at AVC. Hal Huntsman. At last month's board meeting, I advocated for the board and the college to live up to its commitment to diversity. I suggested 3 ways the board could start to do that. After that meeting, the college should put a statement in support of Black Lives Matter on the college homepage. In addition, staff and student services had been allowed to return to work, and some changes were made to the administrative reorganization plan. Those were positive steps, so it was more than disappointing when the BLM statement disappeared. The college is no longer sending a message to the majority of our students that they and their families are important to the college. Furthermore, it is not clear that the college is adequately providing for safety of its employees during the quarantine, especially for those in student services who often have to meet students in person to do their jobs. Most importantly, the changes to President Knutson's administrative reorganization plan do not address the issues of equity and representation in the college's administrative hiring history and structure. So I ask again that you live up to your commitment to diversity by stopping the proposed reorganization, insisting on a fair, open, and rigorous hiring process, and prioritizing the hiring of administrators of color, ensuring that all appropriate practices and equipment are provided to protect the health of the staff in student services and throughout the college, making a continued statement in support of racial justice and posting it on the front page of our college website. Thank you for your time. And that's all I have on non-agenda. The rest of the comments are on agenda items.
Agenda items.
Yes, that's correct.
Just by way of clarification, I appreciate the request for updates. There are some specific updates that, because they're with respect to specific issues, would not, generally speaking, be made public. However, that's not my update. What I want to say is that this board gives the president direction, and then updates on actions that are taken will come from the president's office or will come from the staff's office. And that's where the follow-up will come from. So in terms of the request, just for myself, I appreciate that, and I understand the desire for more information. There's some information that probably can't be shared, but by and large, updates will come from staff. So, read those communications and ask those questions, and thank you for that. Anybody else have any?
Madam President, I would like to respond to one of the comments that was made with regard to the Black Lives Matter issue. It is still on the website.
Okay, good.
It's just been moved to a different location. Things get rotated out. It's under the What's Happening section.
Okay, but it's still there. Very
Yes.
good, because I didn't realize it was gone either. And my apologies for the inadvertent omission of one of the comments from last month's meeting, and we tried to bring that up this month so that that person's comment would be heard.
Yeah, we wanted to get the student info in there so that.
Okay. I have no report from closed session actions, so we'll move to item 12, consent agenda. Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second?
Advice?
Approve?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the consent agenda is approved. We're on to action items. 13.1, approval of quality achievement agreement and COVID-19 supply incentive for the Child Development Center.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Advice?
Approve?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 13.2, approval of emergency closure of the Child Development Center for the period of July 1st through July 31st, 2020, due to the college response to COVID-19 and directives from the Los Angeles County Office of Public Health.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Advice?
Approve?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 13.3, approval of BATSA and Associates Legal Investigator Services from July 1, 2020 through June 30th, 2021.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion? Advice?
Agree?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 13.4, approval of a one-year extension agreement between the Antelope Valley Community College District and Success Incorporated Substance Abuse Services from July 1, 2020 through June 30, 2021.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Advice?
Approve?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 13.5, approval of a one-year contract extension with NeoGov to provide an online modernization process for applicants and document tracking.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Advice?
Approve?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 13.6, approval of agreement between the County of Los Angeles Academic Internship Program and Antelope Valley College.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Advice?
Approve?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 13.7, approval of corporate and community services contract instructor contracts for fiscal year 2020 through 2021.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion? Advice?
Approve?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 13.8, approval to utilize the extension of the Foundation for California Community Colleges FCCC services agreement with B&H Photo and Electronics Corporation through June 6, 2021.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Advice?
Approve?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 13.9, approval to utilize the Foundation for California Community Colleges campus and school agreement with Microsoft for Microsoft products and services through September 30th, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Advice?
Approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 13.10, approval of contract extension of the cooperative piggyback agreement through Hewlett Packard Enterprise to purchase computer-related equipment, software, and services for the district.
I'll move.
Second.
Any discussion? Advice? Any discussion?
Approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 13.11, approval of career and technology education management application articulation system contract renewal.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Advice?
Approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 13.12, approval of contract for Fox Field asphalt services with Bowman Asphalt Incorporated.
I'll move. Second.
Any discussion? Advice?
Approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 13.13, approval of change orders for BE building classroom modernization.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Advice?
Approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 13.14, approval to purchase Microsoft licensing from Computerland of Silicon Valley utilizing the FCCC Microsoft campus agreement.
I'll move.
Second.
Any discussion? Advice?
Approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 13.15, approval of project assignment amendment to Converse Consultants Incorporated for Project Laboratory of Record Services, Palmdale Center Technology Facility.
I'll move.
Second.
Any discussion? Advice?
Approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 13.16, approval of project assignment amendment to amendment revision to Nolan Construction Services for Project Inspector of Record Services Fox Field Improvement Project.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Advice?
Approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 13.17, approval of project assignment amendment to Vital Inspection Services for Project Inspector of Record Services T-Mobile Cell Tower Upgrade Project.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Advice?
Approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 13.18, approval to file notice of completion and resolution of acceptance on the APL building and campus flooring replacement project.
I'll move.
Second.
Any discussion? Advice?
Approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 13.19, approval to file notice of completion and resolution of acceptance on the BE building classroom modernization project, Continental Flooring Incorporated.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Advice?
Approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 13.20, approval to file notice of completion and resolution of acceptance on the BE building classroom modernization project, Taft Electric Company.
I'll move. Second.
Any discussion? Advice?
Approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes. 13.21, approval to file notice of completion and resolution of acceptance on the Fox Field Improvements Project.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Advice?
Approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 13.22, correction to approval of contract with UCrew for the cloud-based portal solutions campus with Measure AV funds.
I'll move. Second.
Any discussion? Advice?
Approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 1323, approval to prepay a 3-year subscription of Pronto, an all-in-one communication platform with Measure AV funds.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Advice?
Approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 1324, approval to enter into contract with UCRU for the cloud-based Portal Solutions campus with Measure AV funds.
I'll move. Second.
Any discussion? Advice?
Approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. We will move to information items, and I think we have some comments related to these.
That is correct. Cindy Hendricks. First, I was glad to see that there was some movement on the proposed reorganization. While this is a step in the right direction, it is not enough. There are still a plethora of issues which need to be addressed, especially if the college is to move forward in this unprecedented time. It still feels like the reorganization is being pushed through in an underhanded manner during what is already an uncertain era, not only in the history of the college, but also in our nation's history. The agreed upon process has still not followed, and it seems as if the input from the community, faculty, and students has only minimally been acknowledged. The small changes seem meant to placate the community. Second, the reorganization still ignores equity issues previously discussed. This is not to take away from the qualifications of the appointees. Rather, it is the fact that others did not have the chance to apply. Again, despite the claim that this reorganization will save money, the accounting seems dubious at the very least. With budget cuts likely coming, AVC should be cautious with regard to the budget and future expenditures. Carla Corona. As an Antelope Valley community member and an adjunct faculty, I write to express my concerns on several issues. I am concerned for the proposed administrative reorganization proposal, whether intentionally or unintentionally. The proposal perpetuates inequity at a public institution, unfairly undermining Black, Indigenous, and people of color individuals at AVC. I do not support this reorganization and would like to see policies that reflect equity and fairness, especially during these unprecedented times. I am concerned as to the why the AVC's Black Lives Matter statement has been removed, or is it not front and center on the AVC website? The statement's presence on the website is a voice of support for Black students, staff, faculty at AVC, and it affirms a commitment to equitable and anti-racist practices and policies. Its removal is very concerning. I need AVC to care about Black Lives Matter for more than a couple of weeks. I have continued concern for the behavior that the president of a California community college deliberately emailed a reply of a student's message, name, and personal information. The email response from the president was a statement of shaming and unacceptable from a leader of an educational institution. This happened in June. What is being done about this egregious behavior? Tina McDermott. I have ongoing concerns about the proposed administrative reorganization. To be very clear, I do not object to the reorganization structure per se, but to the way the people fulfilling those positions were handpicked without any competitive process or attempt to diversify these positions. I appreciate that objections read out loud at the last 2 meetings were taken into account, but it is hard to see how the current revision responds to those comments and the premise of the problem, which is equity and equal opportunity for people of color, especially the devoted, highly skilled, and qualified existing employees of color at the college. In solidarity with Classified and CMS, I continue my objection to the reorganization on this basis. Stacey Adams. I have ongoing concerns about the proposed administrative reorganization. The numbers presented are deceiving. Administrative salaries would be going up, not down. If you disagree, then explain which position has been eliminated that will result in cost savings. In a time when administration claims that there is an extreme pressure on the budget and has been stinging with even tiny costs of living expenses and raises for faculty, but not for administration, the idea of adding more administrative salaries is inappropriate. I question why AVC needs the general legal counsel position. This position didn't exist until somewhat recently. I wonder if the behavior and actions of administration and its adversarial stance over the past several years have created the need for this position. Maybe if we could all get along, we could stop wasting taxpayer money on this position. Thanks for acting fiscally responsible. Furthermore, to be clear, I do not object to the reorganization structure per se, but to the way the people fulfilling those positions were handpicked without any competitive process or attempt to diversify these positions. I appreciate that objections were read out loud at the last two meetings and that they were taken into account, but it's hard to see how the current revision responds to those comments and the premise of the problem, which is equity and equal opportunity for people of color, especially the devoted, highly skilled, qualified existing employees of color at the college, in solidarity, again, the classified CMS, and I continue my objection to the reorganization on this basis. Basilio Hernandez. First off, I want to introduce myself. I'm a student, father, and worker. I'm a senator of ASO and a member of the United Artists of Social Change Club on campus. I am a member of our community and a visionary like many of us. Through these times of global pandemic and popular awareness of social justice, I see the vision of a future where our community realigns its values and becomes more involved in community governance. So as a member of the community, I would like to aid in the nurturing of the communication between the directive administration of Antelope Valley College and the people whom it serves, directs, and represents. AVC board members, please remember that you work for the people. With so many economic paradigms changing and so much financial uncertainty all around the world, we must drift away from the notion of education being a business. Because once our education is sold out, then our future and hopes as well with it. And so for my public comment, I would appreciate it if the directive board did not view me as a number or a customer or of education, but as a human being trying to learn and help heal our community. Now I would like to bring up issues that have been pressing on my heart, and I know for a fact are affecting our student body, faculty, and overall community in a negative way. First off, I work at the Dreamer Center here on campus as a peer mentor and would like to say that the Dreamer Center needs more support, funds, and college awareness. We need the administration to work harder at getting to understand the struggles of undocumented students on our campus and how we are, as a community, can help bring about positive change in the interest of their well-being. I want to demand that AVC Board and President Knudsen work together with Dreamer Center to coordinate and organize monthly meetings for faculty, staff, students, and community members to discuss and learn about our undocumented community. I want to demand that the AVC Board and President Knudsen seek out and give grants, funds, and resources to our Dreamer Center. Remember, our undocumented community is essential yet highly vulnerable during the COVID pandemic. So I ask for AVC to be compassionate and stand in solidarity with us. Second, I would like to restate my disapproval of the reorganization proposal by AVC President Ed Knudsen. I stand in solidarity with many other students, faculty, and community unions that believe the reorganization was proposed abruptly and with bad timing, lacks transparency and communication with the community, and has major equity flaws. Lastly, I want to voice my support and need for social justice healing workshops and mental health check-ins with our students. Due to the political climate fueled with confusion and angst, our community college should be a sanctuary of strength and love. Also, our campus desperately needs more faculty high engagement projects for the 2020 fall semester that are centered around the concept of inclusiveness, diversity, and community. I've been a part of these projects and have witnessed the fruits of community coming together. I would love to hear back from any of the board members or Mr. Knudsen himself concerning these comments and ideas so that we may get them moving into action. I want to thank all the hardworking students and faculty at AVC for pushing through these times of madness. I am sure that when we get to the other side, we will have recreated what it means to be sane. Much love, peace, and happiness. Glenn Haller, since you usually argue in methods that make it impossible to have any meaningful discussion or disagreement with your ideas, I would like to respond to your arguments in regard to the reorganization of the kinesiology and athletics department in this forum. You argue it is a reassignment of duties for an existing employee. Tom Gang was originally hired as a result of an open competitive recruitment. Yes, this is true. However, when he was hired, the athletic director position as CMS and not an educational administrator. This is like saying that the athletic trainer who was hired as a result of an open and competitive recruitment as CMS can now be immediately moved up to dean since they were hired in that way. You continue, Tom is currently director of athletics and the coaches of our athletic teams also serve as the faculty who teach kinesiology. This change of assignment brings the faculty to a single immediate supervisor. What you seem to gloss over or do a public relations whitewash upon, remember I practiced public relations for 37 years, is that well over a third of faculty of this new division, including myself, have nothing to do with athletics. And these faculty who already had one single immediate supervisor are simply being transferred to another one. This, along with you have determined this division to be called athletics and kinesiology, shows a complete disregard or ignorance about the importance of the profession of kinesiology, as well as the educational and community needs of the kinesiological professionals, which is far greater than athletes. In fact, athletics is a small part of kinesiology, and this can be shown by the fact that neither of our two programs, the yoga instructor's certificate or kinesiology degree for transfer, require even one unit of athletic classes. This speaks to the fact that athletics has no business being placed as the primary emphasis of this division. That you have in your arguments and actions placed in a vocational frivolity over serious educational pursuits strikes me as an unconscionable act by one who has been given oversight of an education institution. I'm well aware my response will not change anything, since once you determine you're going to do something, you bully your way toward that end, no matter the cost. However, I wanted my response open to the public and placed in the record. Hang on just for a second. Adrian Gillardin, AVC board members, I would like to express my utmost disappointment in recent actions taken by AVC's administration. In my eyes, you have demonstrated poor judgment and a lack of empathy for the various students and faculty you are meant to be serving. Instead of solidarity, you have let us dangle from a rope in a constant climb and lacking meaningful support from the administration. I will begin by noting the Black Lives Matter banner of support posted to the AVC webpage. While a banner was posted, it was removed within the month and did not demonstrate firm support to our communities of color. Why was it removed? Second, let us address the incident between a student and a certain faculty member making racist comments. I will not state the names of the parties involved, as clearly that will result in this comment being edited. In this last meeting, you refused to read the whole public comment made by the student in question. Furthermore, the minutes do not allow the original comment to be read. Later in the previous meeting, you claimed that anonymous comments could not be read because in a normal meeting setting, that person would have to walk forward as a distinct person. Why then should you edit comments made which would be unedited in a normal meeting setting? If it is for the safety and privacy of those involved, I understand and ask them, why is it that the president of the AVC should release the private details, including email address and full name of an email correspondence with the student? When was that student's safety and privacy considered? Lastly, I wish to address the reorganization. Time and time again, you have told those concerned that the policy and procedure for the reorganization has been followed carefully. You state that equity and diversity is important. This does not mean we have to agree with the reorganization, nor does stating such mean that you are promoting equity and diversity. We still have concerns and we expect to be heard. I am a proud graduate of AVC. I am proud and incredibly fortunate to have had the opportunity to study under some of the best professors around. I will not name them, but they know who they are. I learned in my political science classes at AVC that transparency and accountability are two of the most important qualities for building trust in institutions. You need to work on that. I am not proud of the administration at AVC. I wish I could say differently. You have the power to choose and make things different. I promise you that more people will be paying attention from here forward. Please make the right decisions. This comment came in from Brenna Heumann. My dudes, since I comment here as the single employee laid off in a June 2015 reorganization at this institution, I will endeavor to speak frankly about the concerns at hand in the current proposed reorganization. I will leave it to my colleagues to be more eloquent, but I'm sure we are all quite keenly aware that words don't really matter here today. So let us be clear. We seem surprised by this community's response last month to events regarding equity concerns on campus, both on the pending reorganization and on statements surrounding support for the nation's racial justice movement, including the recent campus-wide email attack on a student of color by the AVC president. Let me help. Let us explain the rhetoric technique of code switching, a term that describes alternating between languages or even a familiar versus a formal register in conversation. This device is often used as an attempt of the speaker to provide for the receiver's comfort when the presenter is not protecting feelings, but speaking in a way to draw out our differences, such as from our most eloquent student who caused so much necessary trouble on this campus. Code switching is employed to command a share of equal attention, to get down to brass tacks, if you will, to show the speaker considers their opinions of equal weight to that of the intended audience. Code switching is rarely a form of disrespect, but rather an attempt to throw off the rhetoric trappings of generation, race, and class that prevent us from speaking as equals. Yet this fact appears to have escaped the notice of our campus leadership in the events of the last month. So I'll attempt to help out with a few examples related to your agenda. The reality, dudes, with both the issues of proposed reorganization and executive misconduct is that these urgent events have exposed critical culture failures on our campus. Yet despite the pomp and circumstance of this meeting, we know that no one sitting in this room is truly moved to do anything about equal employment protections or fair treatment for students, or we wouldn't be distracted by PowerPoints quoting past demographic statistics that are irrelevant to the matters of future change. I'm sure we've all heard another famous turn of phrase here. There are liars, damn liars, and statistics. Pro tip, the question here is not whether you can find excuses to ignore the feedback from your community, but whether you should. The president has been precise to remind us in his memos that his reorganization in its current form comprises a board information item only, that he need only tell us what he intends to do, but that he will be obliged to no one's approval. That, since he has attempted in the last month to play musical chairs with his initial proposal in some strange type of zero-sum net increase of positions game, that his power is to declare these changes outright regardless of shared governance input. This is said while at the same time his newest proposal expressly gives several positions elevated titles and numerous significant duty changes, all described in AP 3100 as requiring recruitment. At last month's meeting here, Ms. Cook's decision at this table was even so bold as to describe these changes as mere lateral moves, in blatant contradiction to the president's own memos, enumerating at length all these new duty changes. Dude, have you actually read them? As an individual who has personally experienced inequitable employment practices at AVC, I can bring you the receipts. I myself occupied a previous position here that was eliminated through a very similar reorganization stated by this administration and approved by this board as related to financial need. What was the need? A Valley Press article on August 10, 2015 quoted the president as claiming, "The goal is for the Advancement and Foundation Office to achieve full self-sufficiency by 2021, save for the Executive Director's salary and benefits. The Foundation's employees will remain district employees temporarily, where 100% of the salaries and benefits will be paid by the district in the 2015-16 and 2016-17 fiscal years. dropping 25% each subsequent year until they are fully absorbed by the foundation. Since the foundation's budget is not listed as a line item in the college's budget, and the AVC Foundation no longer publicly publishes its annual report, how can we be confident that the president has carried out his financial promises since the last reorganization?
That's 5 minutes.
That's 5
That's
minutes.
5 minutes, yeah,
Okay.
so each comment by board policy is limited to 5 minutes.
Very good. Jamie Jones, I am writing in opposition against the proposed administrative reorganization, which continues to overlook the importance of equity policies for employment at a public institution, as well as standard procedures for hiring within the district. This revised administrative reorganization denies the opportunities for other human beings to apply. It also allows the possibility of additional qualified persons to gain any of these positions, and reimagining a current position to elevate an individual is indeed a new position. I am uplifted that ABC is finding value, finally, in the statements, outcries, and pleadings of the oppressed, the unprivileged. Now let us move forward, acknowledging the privileges from which this community is constructed, and decisions are being made here at ABC. I believe that all people have the right, and this community deserves to be treated with dignity and equal opportunities for promotion and hiring. I would like to see our current administration adhere to the policies already in place that reflect equity and fairness. I do wholly oppose this reorganization. Borrowing a line from Dr. Shirley Weber, I say, dismantling institutional racism is not a conversation, it is an action. And I challenge this administration to take that action. Alberto Mendoza. I have ongoing concerns about the proposed administrative reorganization. To be very clear, I do not object to the reorganization structure per se, but to the way the people fulfilling these positions were handpicked without any competitive process or attempt to diversify these positions. I appreciate that objections read out loud at the last 2 board meetings were taken into account, but it is hard to see how the current revisions respond to those comments and the premise of the problem, which is equity and equal opportunity for people of color, especially the devoted, highly skilled, qualified existing employees of color at the college. In solidarity with classified and CMS, I continue my objection to the reorganization on this basis. And that is it.
Thank you for reading those. I really appreciate that, and thank you for the comments. Within the informational items, obviously the reorganization is there, but I also wanted to acknowledge ASO's resolution concerning the fall semester mode of instruction, and I appreciated their thoughtful consideration of all of the details surrounding this issue, so thank you for that. And we'll move to reports and announcements, and we'll start with Academic Senate. Dan Ryder.
Hello, can everybody see me there? I had to make sure my screen's out there. Thank you. To Dr. Laura Herman, President of the District Board of Trustees, and the members of the Board of Trustees, and President Ed Knutson. I want to first begin by recognizing and expressing gratitude for the outgoing Senate Executive Committee who will complete the term this week. Professor Karen Lubick, Dr. Jessica Harper, and Dr. Jason Bowen have fulfilled their terms and served the Senate faculty well and honorably. I express my personal thanks for their dedication, their counsel, and their contributions. I also welcome the incoming Senate Executive Committee who will begin their terms on August 14th. Professor Ty Mettler, Dr. Mark McGovern, and Professor Brian Palagallo. I look forward to working with them in the Senate in this coming year. Secondly, the Academic Senate recognizes and validates the voice of the Associated Student Organization and the 2 collective bargaining units on campus. The Senate offers support for the most recent ASO resolution, Pound 20-21/001, Fall 2020 semester mode of instruction, and the student voice on campus. We urge the board to continue to direct the college to invest in and develop online resources, programs, and services that will support student learning and success. Likewise, in relation to the proposed reorganization, the Senate supports and shares the positions and echoes the concerns of the Associated Students Organization, the Antelope Valley College Federation of Teachers, and the Antelope Valley College Federation of Class of Employees in their opposition to the proposed reorganization. Thirdly, the lack of a clear, published, updated plan outlining safety and health cautions and protocol, timely communication with and engagement with faculty has led to growing lack of confidence in the administration's leadership and preparation for the fall and the general feelings of distrust and frustration. Requests for information, direction, and guidance have been slow to be met. Faculty, staff, and students have been left to their own devices in determining how to prepare because there's been a lack of structure in the execution and communication of AVC's plan in addressing COVID-19. Finally, there's been a pattern over time of receiving information from the administration that has required the Senate and the faculty to react rather than being proactively engaged in a collaborative manner. The faculty voice continues to be muted and minimized. Faculty purview of the 10+1 is slowly being eroded. For example, as little a week before the beginning of the fall semester, faculty and staff have been left to piecemeal together meaningful online presentations for a virtual opening day because the decision to hold an afternoon session was announced unexpectedly and in haste. I commend those individuals and groups that have accepted the invitation in such a short, unexpected time period. And while I recognize the uniqueness and complexity of this time period in dealing with the unknown of COVID-19, I also recognize that we can still plan and then adjust as needed. Instead, we are hurried into meeting a self-inflicted rush. In general, the full-time faculty were unaware that they were expected to attend and participate in any afternoon plans until an email was sent last week from the FPD chair. Yet details are still pending with only 4 days left. During this time of uncertainty, there is a need for clearer communication, increased collaboration, and better community building. At this time, it disheartens me to observe that our own college at times lacks strength in these areas, especially when they are needed. I know and firmly believe, I know we can do better. We have it in us. All of us have the right, I think, goals and intents to do better, and I know we can. While individual departments, areas, groups, and faculty work tirelessly to meet the increasing and changing needs of our primary focus, the students, and the institution, they do so in silos. So much of their contributions and meaningful work are diminished in our current disjointed environment. There is too much divisiveness and not enough unity. As we approach the 2020-21 academic year, I invite us all, the board, the administration, CMS, faculty, staff, students, and bargaining units to work together to improve clearer communication, engage collaboration, and a deeper sense of community to help us to catch and hold on to the vision of this college to provide quality education that transforms lives. Thank you.
Thank you. Antelope Valley College Federation of Teachers, Dr. Burt.
Good evening, President Knudsen and members of the Board of Trustees. The Antelope Valley College Federation of Teachers continues to note chaos on campus, primarily caused by actions of the administration. I am disappointed that the situation has not improved since the July board meeting. Tonight, I focus on 3 instances where the AVC administration shows a lack of transparency and a lack of respect for the campus community. First, President Knudsen has successfully pushed through his proposed reorganization, listed as an informational item 14.1 on today's meeting. The Federation noted its opposition to the reorganization at the July board meeting and submitted written comments on August 7th. There were also multiple comments from faculty, staff, students, and members of the community related to this issue. President Knudsen's revised reorganization proposal does not sufficiently address these concerns and in fact doubles down on many of them. In particular, there may be multiple apparent violations of AP 3100, the need for various new positions has not been justified, and multiple individuals, most of whom are white, appear to have been cherry-picked for substantial reclassifications and raises without providing equal opportunity for other qualified individuals through the open hiring process. Additionally, it seems like a serious misuse of public funds and lack of integrity to be providing individuals with reclassifications resulting in substantial pay raises when the job duties have not significantly changed. In fact, the question of possibly overlooking other qualified individuals was raised by a board member at July's meeting, which President Knudsen did not attend. President Knudsen, by seemingly ignoring this criticism, appears not to value a workplace where all employees have equal opportunity for advancement. Will the board watch silently while President Knudsen implements this glass ceiling? Faculty have noted President Knudsen's perceived lack of respect for the campus community, as well as the boards. We stand ready to fight for a world where there are no glass ceilings for our students or anyone else in our community. Additionally, the original reorganization was proposed in the early stages of the COVID-19 crisis at the very end of the spring 2020 semester. The updated reorganization was proposed on the Thursday of the very last week of the summer 2020. President Knudsen allowed for a single week of feedback while the college was out of session and plans to implement it on August 15th. This appears to be an attempt to hide these proposals from candid feedback by deliberately offering them at a time when many constituent groups are distracted by the end of the term. While President Knudsen's timeline may meet the letter of AP 3100, this rushed timeline, lack of transparency, and lack of respect for candid feedback fails to meet the spirit of running a college with forthright, honest leadership. Will the board stand by to allow this misuse of authority? Second, safety for all students, faculty, and staff on campus continues to be of utmost importance to us. The administration has indeed made it possible for most fall classes to be held remotely. However, the AVC administration has been holding reopening task force meetings without labor representation. After classified union president Pamela Ford and I found out about these meetings, and after significant pushback from the administration, we were invited to last Thursday's meeting, as well as the meeting being held this week. Given that working conditions are a mandatory subject of bargaining, it shows a lack of respect for faculty and classified to admit us to these planning meetings only under duress. Even as case counts rise in LA County, the administration seems reluctant to commit to and actually implement evidence-based safety precautions recommended by many different governments and outside organizations. As an example, on June 18th, the California Department of Public Health issued guidance on the use of face coverings, which broadly requires that people in California must wear face coverings when they are engaged in work in any room or enclosed area where other people are present when unable to physically distance. It is telling that at the July board meeting and other meetings held throughout July, multiple administrators and members of this board were together unmasked in small AVC conference rooms. The administration should lead by example. Instead, it appears that its response is disrespectful to the over 5,000 Antelope Valley residents who have suffered from COVID-19, including over 70 who have died. Since it's now clear from the data that people in poverty and people of color are at greater risk of catching COVID-19 and at greater risk of worse outcomes once sick, the AVC administration's response seems out of touch with the lived reality of many of our students, staff, and faculty. We have noted the Associated Student Organization's resolution related to COVID-19 safety, informational item 14.2, and the apparent lack of campus leadership and planning. We agree with many of the concerns raised by the students. As faculty, we will support them in their educational journeys this semester so that they can progress toward their goals and we can all stay safe. Finally, recently, the all faculty and all classified email lists were essentially censored. Whereas previously all faculty could reply to the list, now the vast majority of faculty are unable to respond to their colleagues. This is arguably in response to some vitriolic discussions on the all faculty list. However, this list is the only mode that faculty currently have of having a campus-wide discussion. Even when the campus is open, we are not able to gather all faculty together. So this is the only way faculty can have a truly campus-wide discussion. The vast majority of emails on the all faculty list are on topic and represent healthy discussion amongst colleagues. If there is a complaint about a specific faculty member's online behavior, that should be handled via the already established, contractually agreed upon progressive discipline process. It is important that open dialogue continues even when it is uncomfortable. This effort by the administration to silence faculty by disabling replies to the list is a mistake which faculty will not forget. The AVC administration continues to glorify lack of transparency and lack of respect for the campus community. Our school and community deserve better than the current poor leadership at AVC, and faculty stand ready to fight for our students and community. Thank you.
Okay, we'll move to the Antelope Valley College Federation of Classified Employees. Ms. Ford?
Good evening. I'm Pamela Ford, Classified Union President. I hope you are all well. We, the classified, continue to be concerned about the student and how horribly he was treated, and we are awaiting the outcome on a resolution to that matter. We are also concerned as to why the time for submission of comment cards was changed, thereby limiting the number of comments submitted by constituent groups across the campus. We also have major concerns about the reopening and health and safety of our employees. And the fact that you want to bring classified back onto campus before a plan is completed, a plan which we weren't a part of from the beginning, placing all of our classified employees at risk. As for the reorganization, I'm baffled by this reorganization even being included on this agenda. I was certain that you heard and took seriously constituent group and community concerns regarding this matter and would require the president to back up and follow the process. I wonder if you've gotten caught up in the cynical picture of the president paints of those who justifiably come forward with concerns. As Senator Cory Booker stated, cynicism clouds one's ability to see the other side. For a third time, the reorganization has been modified. The president continues to promote as he chooses. True, some positions have now been moved to have to be applied for, but how can we trust this is not a manipulation just to fool you into thinking there has been some change? How can we assure the committees will not be packed to ensure his outcome? The president is still promoting the Academic Senate Coordinator under the guise of working out of classification and with a higher salary, and has added another person of color. Do you think that answers the problem? It is about as short-sighted and disingenuous as placing and then removing from a prominent position on the website. How many times have I been before you appealing to you to require the president to follow all rules, regulations, policies, and procedures, and collective bargaining agreements? And each time I've met with your inaction. As an example, the president 3 times has refused to present his reorganization as required. And what did you require of him? Nothing. The president systematically removed people of color from upper administrative positions, and you did nothing. The president unilaterally changed classified work hours, violating the collective bargaining agreement, and you did nothing. This is the second or third reorganization he has pushed through without following the process. And again, you've done nothing. The president worked tirelessly against the opposition of both faculty and classified, as well as the students, to eliminate intercession, even using marred statistics to justify an unjustifiable position. And again, you did nothing. The president is now having a classification study for classified to move forward without bargaining with the union, which the union has openly opposed. And instead, he had HR go around the union and choose selected individuals to serve on the committee who were not appointed by the union, once again engaging in direct dealing and unilaterally departing from the collective bargaining agreement. You are aware of this study and have done nothing to inquire of him whether or not he has worked with the union or requires them, or if you've even required him to adhere to the collective bargaining agreement. And why now would you do a reclassification with looming budget cuts? It appears All the president has to do is wax eloquently his position to you, and you vote regardless of whether or not his decision may be wrong and lead to litigation. It is as if you would rather be sued and lose than require him to do the right thing. But let me remind you of a time you actually did do something. It wasn't right, but you did it. When you took action to vote affirmatively for the gerrymandered district map, which is not equally dispersed and does not allow for equity for people of color to run for or win these seats. That's the time you did something. What are you as a board terrified of? Is it that diversity exists and upper management would be too close to you? Or is it that we have a voice and are exercising our right to speak clearly on wrongs? Tonight, this night, we are not looking to the president to make this right. This night, we are looking to you as elected officials. You have the ultimate accountability, authority, and responsibility for our accreditation. You can choose to continue your pattern and ignore all of the groups and community members who have come forward if you like. But your inaction will be revealed through the accreditation process. These statements are not just documents you can look at and toss away. They are evidence that will be included in the next accreditation study, specifically Standard 4 leadership. So what will the next study reveal? Well, will your lack of governance and ability will your lack of governance and accountability reveal that you allowed one individual to ignore and trample through policies and procedures that you were sworn to uphold, collecting bargaining agreements that you signed off on, and EEO standards that you tout to uphold? By supporting his actions, you openly demonstrate disregard for equity and diversity. Or will it reveal that you as elected board members required adherence and accountability from the president to follow all agreements, policies, and procedures? The second way that your lack of governance and accountability will be revealed is at the polls. Granted, since you have agreed to unfair gerrymandering, change won't come at once, but trust me, it will come. It is up to you to decide if your loyalty and accountability are to one individual or to the college and community as a whole. Do something. Stop supporting this failure of leadership. Do your job. Stop this reorganization, which is divisive and eliminates diversity and equality. Require what you as a board have not before. Require accountability and adherence to policies and procedures. Apply AP 3100 properly. Stop taking the inaccurate guidance of those he hires in leadership positions for nothing more than to push his agendas and carry his water. Your elected positions are not about one individual. Instead, the backbone of participatory governance is what we do collectively through the shared governance process. Yes, shared. Agreed, it can be frustrating, but it's been evidenced that when we work collectively, it yields decisions that the collective all can live with and not just a chosen few. Your role as board members is not just to sit on the dais and vote 5-0 and endorse his whims. Your role is to govern, and we expect it. That is why we
Sounds like she cut out. I don't see that she's muted, it just sounds like it cut out.
come before you as a collective to demand still like dust.
Ms. Cook, do we have a policy on the time limit for the constituent reports?
Actually, the constituents' reports were not limited in terms of time. It looks like Ms. Ford she's been going about 8 minutes. I don't know if you could send her a message in the chat to let her know, because it looks like she's on.
Yeah, let her know that we can't hear, but we're gonna go ahead and move on. Do we have a report from CMS?
No, Jared Simmons said there was no report.
Okay. How about ASO?
Yes, Cameron Zepeda emailed me and said we are excited to get the fall semester started next week. Additionally, the ASO voted to not support the revised administrative reorganization.
Thank you. And from the Antelope Valley College Foundation, Ms. Knippel.
Good evening. May I add a little bit of levity to this meeting today? We are getting ready to award a little over $206,000 to graduates on August 24th, to scholarship awardees on August 24th. The average award is about $1,500. It's a great opportunity to support our students, and that's what the foundation is about. We've also been working to provide, through a competitive process, a couple of faculty awards for grants, which comes from our Antelope Valley College Students Endowment from the One Walk. So we'll be notifying those folks here recently. And then just a really good note. We have a very sophisticated software package called NextGen, which manages our software for and applications for scholarships. And we decided to make a little change to try to help Jill Zimmerman's team collect data and information on students and their photos for graduation on Friday. So I'm proud to say that my two team members, Lisa O'Leary and Emily Moulton, have been working very hard to support the graduation team to have a little over 463 or so graduates that will be done via online, which is the first time NextGen software has ever been able to do this. And so we're hoping to get a little visibility in the future with how we support our NextGen partners. So we've been working really hard to help our students, and that's what the foundation is all about. Thank you.
Thank you. Office of the Superintendent President, Mr. Knudsen.
No report this evening.
Okay, board members, shall we start with Juliet?
Nothing tonight.
Okay, we'll go around the table. Ms. Gaines.
I just want to say good evening to everyone, and I too am very disappointed in the movement of the Black Lives Matter notice. And would like to have some clarity on why that was done. Thank you.
Mr. Adams.
No report.
Mr. Stoltz.
Okay.
Mr. Buffalo.
Well, these are obviously very difficult times, and I wish we were back in the regular board meeting, and then I would owe a Diet Coke. But any case, these are difficult times, and it's difficult communication. We're facing a time of some uncertainty. I noticed people talked about putting together plans, and as I monitor this thing, there are daily briefings and information coming in that sometimes changes every couple of days. It's very difficult to get a handle on this. And it comes in from a variety of sources, whether it comes in from the state, the county, the feds, the World Health Organization. Everybody is subject to this uncertainty and inability to actually create a focused, well thought out plan at this point, because we are getting so much information. I just think that people need to be positive, move forward, and at some point we've got to get this campus open again, because doing it like we're doing is simply not working. We know this. We know that online doesn't work well, and I know students want to return.
Hello? Hello?
And no report from me, so, pardon me?
Okay, can you
Can you chatter and let her know?
No, I'm good. That's
Okay.
it. Yes, that's fine.
Okay, before I adjourn, bring this board back on. I don't want to hang up on her.
I just couldn't ask you on mute. There it goes.
hello?
Natalie, you cut out. We moved on. So you've been going.
Yeah, I lost my connection.
Pardon me?
I said I lost my connection. Should I finish?
Can you finish in the next minute or so?
Yeah, I don't have that long to go.
Go ahead.
Okay, trust me, collectively we will rise. Diversity and equity are not a moment or a movement. This is a sea change for you, being embraced by the collective many. So here is something you can do. Set this matter straight. Thank you.
All right, with that, our next meeting is September 14th.
Madam President,
Pardon me?
That's it.
Madam
Yeah.
President,
Go ahead.
I wanted to answer Trustee Gaines's question concerning the panel. We had the Black Lives Matter panel up for a week. That was followed immediately by a panel honoring Congressman John Lewis for a week. I believe the Black Lives Matter is a tile on the webpage. We have information we have to get to students with classes starting on Monday. So we've been rotating them to get sure. If something has happened with the banner, I will double check in the morning. But that was the reason. Black Lives Matter was up for a week or two, and then we thought when Congressman Lewis passed, we put up a panel honoring him, and then we've been rotating them through the carousel.
Thank you, Mr. President. I appreciate that. Okay, so here we are at 7:47, and this meeting is adjourned.